What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 2 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Miao Ying Immortal Empires campaign, or should I say Immortal Empires Expanded campaign. Either way, we had a pretty strong start last episode as we have taken out both the Dissenter Lords and the Rebel Lords, and have, by the looks of it, taken out all of the enemy Cathayans that we are likely to be fighting. Granted, there may be other Cathayan factions out here in the territories added by the mod, but, well, it'll be a while before we get down there, so we'll play it by ear. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, big moment, the Great Bastion has been breached through Dragon Gate, and we have to book it back on up there. We only had a limited time to screw around, and it looks like it took 10 turns before the Bastion was first breached. Frankly, I'm surprised that it was, because clearly the gates have a lot of defenders. I mean, basically a full stack, and still Village managed to pull it off, so good for him. In terms of what we got to do this turn, let's see. This guy, Chian Tsai, you're gonna, yeah, let's get you to Nan Li. We are kind of using him as an administrator as well as a recruiter, so you know what, I think I'm gonna name him administrator. Administrator. No, I can't fit. Okay, fine. There we go. Administrator Chian Tsai. The thing is, we are probably going to have a lot of lords, and I'm going to start getting confused. Anyway, sir, you will need to start recruiting more peasants. And let's do it, because they're cheap. Unfortunately, a little bit more expensive here, due to the, I think, wrong type of harmony for this. Yeah, recruitment plus 10%, but we don't have any space to build another building yet to change that. Oh. I can get that Gate Master up and running relatively shortly, though. In fact, maybe we'll actually prioritize upgrading Nan Li over Nan Gau. Yeah, just to get a Gate Master. But anyway, that's in the future. Next up, you... Lan Hu, I guess we're going to have to rush you up here as well. Yeah, frankly, if the gate has been breached, there's probably a full stack, a solid Chaos full stack out there. We may even need to... Oh! You're gonna suffer attrition doing that. My bad, but it is what it is. You're just gonna have to live with it. You two are fine as you are for now, and I guess we're going to generate another lord. Let's go with the Celestial General this time. The Anathema one will give us ward save when fighting Chaos, so I suppose we can do you. I do like that Glorious Charge. If we want to get an army that has a bunch of Jade Lancers, this would be really nice with them as well. But for a defensive lord, I guess Anathema would probably be better to sit around in the gates. Yeah, let's do that. Plus, I was kind of curious as to what these guys can do now. I've never seen them in SFO. I remember being not super fond of them in vanilla and thinking that there isn't really too much reason to build them over either of the other two lords, which just seem generally superior. So basically what they do is they give us a choice between 10 armor, 10 weapon strength, or 20% charge bonus for the lord. I guess we can take Comment of Wei Jin plus that charge bonus with Jade Lancers in another army, whereas this one maybe will go for armor. Seems like the thing to do, as it's going to be more of a defensive leader. Otherwise, it will mostly buff itself, as in this lord, although that Aura of Endurance is quite nice. Missile resistance and melee defense, and a little bit of mass, all of which will also help the Jade Lancers, but will generally help pretty much anything, because it's a very solid aura. Interesting. Still, I think the buffs are vastly inferior to that of the Magistrates, mostly because the Magistrates have this at the end of their tree, Vanguard deployment for the entire army. That's so insanely strong that it's kind of hard to compete with it, even if the Magistrate can't really fight very well. But anyway, I digress. I believe that's all we gotta do now, and are free to end the turn unless I'm mistaken. We are collecting a little bit of cash from the Lands of Stone and Steel, but mostly because, well, we don't have anywhere else that we're collecting cash from right now. All right. Ooh. Wuxing Compass. All right, I guess we can... You know, there's no need to set the direction because it's already set. It's just that it's going to bother me that this is here for every turn, so we're just going to set it back to Great Bastion just so that it doesn't bother me. And we'll go to Celestial Lake once we're ready. For now, we're defending, and we're definitely going to need those Ancestral Warriors to help us out, as well as the recruitment cost reduction, because it counteracts that from the Yin effect here. Yeah, alrighty. The rest of that looks good to me, so let's end the turn, and let's see a village, or, well, possibly Norskins, show up and turn. Alright, moment of truth, eventually. Also, while the turn is ending, for those unfamiliar, we do an engagement threshold sort of thing on this channel in order to determine the length of the upcoming episodes. There's that war declaration that we were expecting. And, well, it's annoying, but you gotta do what you gotta do. It's the way that YouTube works, unfortunately, and this is still a pretty small channel and all that. Anyway, so it works like this. If this episode gets 500 likes and 70 comments, the next episode will be an hour-ish long, as well as the previous episode was, and if we continue in that streak to probably Saturday, I'll most likely do 2 episodes on Saturday, possibly Wednesday, but I rarely have time to do 2 episodes after work. So keep it in mind if you like the longer episodes as opposed to the shorter half-hour to 40-minute episodes instead. Issued for the Alliance another standard evasion, sure, and united against us. Oh, have invited by the puppets of misrule. Okay, wow. They actually managed to pull that off. Never happens for me. Can never manage to invite anyone. But anyway, you, sir. I probably won't be able to well, we can move pretty far. I'm just wondering whether it would be better to... Okay, you go here. Will this take... No, okay, wait. Go here. We need this guy to keep recruiting. More peasants for now, but, you know. And, ooh, actually, wait. Go here a little bit further. Go there. Alright, then we'll transfer the peasants, which are decent ranks. Then we'll want to build the iron mine, and I guess the... actually quite expensive due to the inhale the contents yourself debuff for 4 turns. Maybe hold off on it, because it's, you know... It's a little bit steep. We will probably want another one of these gem factors here to generate actual money, though I don't like the control reduction that they cause. Do both of the market types cause a control reduction? Oh, wait, this one doesn't give us any direct money, does it? We'd have to use the trade exchange. Wait, what? Wait. Prevents the construction of the spice market. Oh, these should really be beside each other, because that was very confusing. But yeah, it does look like we can't build both. What we could do is we could counteract the yen thing, but I think the construction cost reduction will still be useful in this particular territory, so we should probably stay with the spice market, at least for now. So that's what we'll do. Then you can return... Wait, is there any building needed to be built here? Yes, there is. Alright, so you can pass through this territory and get that construction cost reduction and all of that. We will immediately upgrade Shenyang, like so. And then we will go here, where we most likely won't be able to afford to upgrade anything here, which is unfortunate, but 3,600, it's a little bit steep. Then we have to decide where we go through with Miao Ying. Now, we could go through Shing Po and probably cripple the Skaven on the way to the north. And we could even possibly take a couple of their territories and then peace out with them for a significant amount of cash. Well, they actually only have 3 territories. Although I'd wager one of them... Wait. Do we have the time for this? This is a Chaos Ruin. It's not full of Skaven, meaning they have a Skaven settlement here. And don't tell me one's all the way out here. Unless the Skaven have occupied that one in the time since. Shing Po, Jadewood Mountain, and Village of the Moon. There are only 3 ruins around here, right? Alright, maybe. Let's send both of you to Shing Po. In fact, we can use one of you to attack, because that way we won't waste the turns on Miao Ying, which is pretty critical at this point. So yeah, you're gonna go here. This is a bridge, right? It's not a ford. You can actually cross it, I hope. Well, stay in our own territory either way, because we can at least, we can channel and we can heal a little bit here. Like so. And then we'll go for Shing Po. This is all looking good. Let's check out diplomacy. What do we got here? We got nothing, and nothing. Jade Custodians want to be defensive allies and military allies, and... They want to confederate down here, right? Oh, that's a question. You know what? I'm gonna leave this alone for now. It's a decent thing, it's just that I feel like it's more critical that we try to confederate the Imperial Wardens and grab the Great Bastion for ourselves, and they're very close to being confederated as well. Who knows, if they take another loss, another army, and destruction, then we might be able to confederate them then and there, and I would really prefer that. Anyway, Lanhu, you're gonna proceed up here. You, I guess, are going to keep building those cheap peasants. And what kind of peasants do we need more of? One of each, I guess, or 1, 2, whatever. Alright, all we can afford. And then you are just gonna have to stay there. I don't think that Full Stack will be able to take Pomei. Yes, it's not a crazy garrison or anything like that, but the AI is kind of bad at attacking settlements, so not super worried. And then you can move together. Frankly, I guess I didn't really need to get you up and running, except to possibly defend Terracotta Graveyard, which we don't want to lose. Alright, the rest of that looks good to me. We'll hold off on that Confederation. Public order here is falling again, but hopefully it won't be a huge deal as long as we keep it in the nice and steady place. Skip, skip, and in the turn. Alright, let's see if village shows up. Alright, I see Plague Rolk of the Skaven. And that's fine. Alright, come on, great. Ooh, hello. Was that 3 Skaven lords plus the garrison of Shing Po? Ooh, this should be fun. I'm hoping that we can fight them all together. Facing off against massive hordes of Skaven has always been just one of the best parts of this game. I enjoyed it immensely in the Astanka campaign just a couple of episodes ago, and I expect to enjoy it here as well. Consider Confederation. I am considering Confederation. Ah, there he is. Alright, so. Amateur discovered. Caravan completed. Oh, nice. We needed that cash. And you got a free organ gun as well as the star metal plate. Melee attack minus 10 area hex. This is actually pretty darn solid. Yeah, good for you. Where was that? That was to Berg Var, unless I'm mistaken. Okay. Gotta remember where we've actually gone. Diplomatic relations plus 40 with Imperial Wardens. There comes an earth-shaking wail from beneath the Dragon River, where it is said the spirit dragon slumbers, guarding Cathay's ancestors. While the Emperor makes no pronouncement, the import is clear. His long-unseen daughter mourns to see the families of her homeland so divided. Reverent minds act accordingly. Alright. Out of curiosity. Ah, they are able to confess. Oh, I'm so glad I waited. That could have been risky, but it worked out reasonably well. And definitely we'll want the Imperial Wardens, so we'll confederate them immediately. I want to see what's going on out here, and I want the Bastion for ourselves. Like so. Alright, and let's see. Oh, I got Ostermark and the Court of Night. Well, they're going to be dead soon, but Ostermark is fighting the Wargrove of Woe, but they are willing to trade. I think we do have to prioritize Imric and Goldtooth, though. I really hope Imric doesn't die. We basically probably can only choose one right now, and Goldtooth's quite strong. Ooh, now you know what? I think we have to prioritize Goldtooth. We do want his units, and if he declares war on us, it'll be a big problem in that we don't have enough troops to guard the location at the current time. Ostermark, we can still be friends with. In fact, we'll take non-aggression pact and money. The Wargrove of Woe won't appreciate it, but the Kislevites might, and to be perfectly frank, we can use some of their units as well. Elven units, Kislevite units, Imperial units, all would work nicely with that. As Dwarfen units, yeah, you gotta love these not generic, but generalist factions that have units that will work together nicely. Anyway, this does the -8 control. Yeah, that's not great. At least the Bastion doesn't have that issue. And a giant pile of peasants, hello. Yeah, okay, you're not taking this, there's no way. Also, just out of curiosity, wards save 2% when fighting against Warriors of Chaos, Demons of Chaos, Chaos Dwarfs, and Norska and Beastmen. Own armies faction-wide and owned territory, plus the technology unlock. We can get Terracotta Automatons when this reaches Tier 3. Frankly, the Corral here is not super useful, so I'm going to delete that. And let me just see here. So this thing gives us the recruit rank and massive recruitment cost reduction, which is fantastic. We should use one of these territories as a recruitment hub, possibly several of them. Growth plus 10 all provinces is nice as well. But we also need military structures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we could use 2 of them as military hubs at least then. I would like to have room for the Bastion Grand Parlor, but we'll see. The rest of this I think we can deal with without. Do we need to upgrade you? I don't think we can afford it right now. You, get in here. Alright, and you can defend. And also, what do you have? Guardian. Hey, melee defense plus 10 for Great Longbow. We'll keep it. You can command Great Longbow when we, when we have decent numbers of them. Although I suppose there is an argument to be made for using the a lord that buffs him or gives him magical damage to units. What do you have? Defensive supplies? Okay, you're kind of terrible actually, but we'll keep you there, just standing there for now in case we need to defend Turtle Gate, which has another one of those Nan Gau forges and the recruitment cost reduction building. Alright, fair enough. Ain't no way village is breaking through those. Now, speaking of village, you... Huh. You could reach him, but I don't think we can take his full stack. So I think we're not gonna. You are going to leave the settlement. And then we'll go here. Frankly, this guy might actually have to serve as bait. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see what village does here. Alright, and we're just going to hope that this is sufficient. We could, just in case some of the Empress Croman, that might help out with at least one of the units here. Village might also turn on Pomei, but hopefully we can just deal with that. Do we have any upgrades here available to us? You? I mean, get Nan Gau Grenadiers or Iron Hail Gunners? Yeah, I'm gonna say Iron Hail Gunners. We don't have any, and wait, did I was gonna give some to Miao Ying as well. Can't upgrade these. Ooh, we can't upgrade the Peasant Long Spears, though. And get them into Peasant Horses. They're not going to stay in Miao Ying's army, but we can eventually transfer them once they become Jade Lancers. This also probably completely took away our movement range, unfortunately. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But oh well. What can you do? Still got to go after these guys after all. Next up, while we're upgrading stuff, you guys can't be upgraded. The Tier 4 Jade Warriors, nope, still not ready for halberds. Alright, that's fine. Not like we're gonna need it against the Skaven. And I guess it's time to fight. So, who are you at war with currently? And Deathmaster Snitch? Only the Dimmed Suns. Alright, well, thank you to the Orcs. We'll declare war on you eventually as well, but for now, we'll take your 2,000 gold. Like so. And then we'll see. We will then... I mean, we'll probably want to fight these guys together, so we need to... Okay, if I could just... Ooh. You can't cross, can you? Oh, that's a problem. Can you cross? You can if you attack directly. Okay, that's kind of iffy. Let me think about this. You will besiege Shing Po, and we can cancel it after. Yeah, besiege Shing Po. I assume it's not walled, but we'll see in a second. And oh wow, I do have stuff there. Nice. It does have a gem cutter's workshop, a monsters building, but it does not have walls. Okay, good. Then we have two options. We could probably try to make these rats run and take them out. And then go for Shing Po itself, since it still has a full stack in there. And damn, that's a lot of freaking Night Runners, man. But yeah. Alright, I think that's what we'll do. So we're gonna go after Murta here first. While they're besieged, they can't reinforce. Murta will obviously run. Really? Really? Okay, change of plans. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. What is this? Really, game? Okay, so we can't do that, can we? I'll try it maybe one more time, but if this... he'll just run the same way. Alright. Yeah, definitely change of plans then. We will... Would we want you to reinforce then? He might want you to reinforce rather than Miao Ying to reinforce. Yeah, this is kind of an issue. Okay, fine. We'll go for Dragon's Breath here. We'll have you attack rather than Miao Ying, because these guys will back off after the battle anyway, and we don't want Miao Ying to waste all of her remaining movement range. Fair enough. Pyrrhic victory. They will reinforce, we will reinforce. We have to take the settlement. Go.
And ensure our empire is forever glorious.
Alright, and kill a few rats while you're at it. Here we go. I'd wager this should be a pretty darn fun fight. And on top of that, since we're facing off against the Skaven, this will be a perfect test of our Nan Gau Grenadiers, as, well, the blob of Skaven that we're going to be facing off against should be pretty darn good for testing them. Anyway, I don't know why I just said it twice in two different ways, but anyway, we do have a lot of enemy range units, which should actually be fairly concerning. The Night Runners and their Shuriken will also do enough armor-piercing damage to be a danger to Miao Ying in dragon form, and we might not get as much mileage out of her as we normally might here. Should be pretty interesting nonetheless. Now, looks like some of the enemy units have arrived over on the right flank as reinforcements, just at the same time as our own units do. Droves of Skaven coming in, but of course it will be a limited number due to the fact that there are already nearly 40 units on the screen. We are going to be horrifically outnumbered in this battle, I'd wager, but that should keep it pretty fun. Anyway, first volleys come in, first from the fire rain rockets of the sky junk, followed by the arrows or quarrels of or bolts of our crossbows, and then finally the grenades from okay, maybe they're still moving up. All right, fine. Well, they'll get there eventually. Sorry about that. I got too excited about seeing the grenades work, but we'll see plenty of it. There we go. That's a lot of range damage coming in. Gehenna's Golden Hounds plus all of the units in range combining together have pretty much destroyed all 5 of these units of Night Runners and it's mostly Night Runners. Well, that's probably really good because the Night Runners would have been potentially a thorn in our side if we were to allow them to fight. Now, curiously, they do seem to be running past us. We did kind of menace them with Miao Ying hovering over them for a little bit, so they might be, or might have been attempting to run away from the flying unit, as the AI does tend to behave in such a way where it tries to back off from them. But at the end of the day, I think what they're actually trying to do is try to run towards the main force. That said, there are, let's see, 4 and another F4. Okay, so there are 8 units that still have to make their way onto the map. There is also a Master Assassin that has arrived, but Miao Ying will simply hit him a few times until he gets to half HP, and then send him off screen. We can also get a little bit of work from our units of peasant horses. Just got to be careful about killing off our own units. Gotta level these guys up until they get to Jade Lancers, after all. And I do like the dynamic of training up peasants until they're worthy enough to become Jade Warriors, or Jade Crossbows, or Jade Lancers. Especially since those particular units are units without healing caps, and we could build, or healing caps, just capacity limitations, and we could build as many of them as we wanted. But like this, they actually have to earn their positions. Anyway, there we go. First of the enemy units destroyed, and we are going to speed it up as we run down a few of the others and reposition our army, most likely. We should probably head Miao Ying towards the enemy army as well, and ooh, that's actually a pretty darn cool shot. If you didn't have the banners and stuff, you might not spot her flying over the mountains like this, but still pretty cool. But the massive changes in elevation will probably slow her down considerably. So it's kind of neat that you can actually go up here. I would have loved to have like a sort of aerial battle all the way up here, like if we were two, by and large, air armies just fighting up here. That would be really neat. I wonder if I can make that happen somehow. We need to find an enemy that builds a lot of air units. I do know that Chaos sometimes likes to build a lot of Furies, so that's certainly an option. But anyway, Miao Ying's just having fun flying around and taking in the sights, because they're certainly beautiful. And I think this is the limit of how high we can go. No, it isn't. We can go higher. That's what Zhao Ming likes to say. Anyway. Although he probably says get higher. But anyway, yeah, this is... I mean, we wouldn't even be able to see what the heck is going on in the battlefield. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. I'm going to speed this back up. We're going to get a few more bombardments in with our sky junk at this point, but they're just trying to annoy the enemy. You can see Miao Ying's health dropping rapidly, and yep, as expected, there is sufficient armor-piercing damage on those Night Runners to dish out heavy damage to her. Unfortunately, we do need her to come down on the enemy artillery piece, since as yet, we don't have an artillery piece of our own. It is what it is, though. we'll touch down and start annoying those Plague Claw catapults. And hopefully we have enough HP without transforming back into mortal form to deal with that. Otherwise, the enemy army is moving on, and we are not firing at them as yet, but we'll start doing so shortly, and hopefully we can get the Sky Junk out of there before enemy Night Runners catch up. And damn, there's a lot of Night Runners. I also don't remember, do the Skaven... Or did the Skaven... Does the Deathmaster snitch buff Night Runners and Gutter Runners and whatnot faction-wide, or does it only buff him in his own army? Because you would think any army belonging to Clan Ushin would have more powerful Night and Gutter Runners, generally speaking. But anyway, looks like the enemy does manage to get a volley or two off with its Plague Claw catapults, and the first of the enemy have arrived, just about getting into range of our Grenadiers and other such units. And here we go, time to start firing away. I waited a little bit because I wanted the grenades to actually fire in the first volley. There we are. That first unit of Clan Rats gets completely wiped out. Granted, it got focused pretty darn hard there, but there's plenty more where that came from. Another 2 volleys from the Grenadiers. I'll wipe out more units of Clan Rats, dishing out maybe 60 to 70% of their damage. Fortunately or unfortunately, there's plenty, and I do mean plenty more, where that came from. We do have our left flank defended by this sort of cliffside, so at least we won't be overwhelmed from that direction. Looks like we do get hit by a Plague Breath, or Pestilent Breath. Good move from the AI for using it on the Nan Gau Grenadiers rather than on the Jade Warriors due to the lack of armor on the Grenadiers, so got to appreciate that when the AI does it appropriately. Gehenna's Golden Hounds come down, and more grenades come in from the Grenadiers. Unfortunately, I think this is the first dark map we've played upon, right? I don't remember if we had any dark maps in the previous battle, but on occasion it's fine. As long as we don't have too many of them, and by the looks of it we won't. Cathay maps do tend to be bright and very nice and visible. Oh right, those frickin' net effects. I still don't like those. That's the snare net, eh? Do you wonder if the less effects modder would be willing to take those out of the those effects out as well? The less effects modder was very, very kind and removed the slow death effect from a stank of spiders, and I just gotta keep singing their praises because I am so thankful for it, because I hate that effect. It's so ugly. And it covers so much. It does seem like only a couple units are getting affected by this, but I think it's only the units that are, well, moving out there and actually closing the distance with the enemy. Like Miao Ying is among the Night Runners and Gutter Runners, whereas Plague Monks and Clan Rats won't have that effect, so it does make sense. Anyway, the balance of power is still very much in the enemy's favor. They just have so many units on the field. There is a big old blob that's trying to flee over in the right sort of flanks direction. We can see all these heavily damaged Night Runners. They got hit by Gehenna's Golden Hounds and by our by let's see, 60% of our Junk's ammunition. So we're going to try to chase them down with the peasant horses, but otherwise there's still plenty of enemy units remaining on field to attempt to hold off. I see that Miao Ying has dropped down to about 20% of her HP, which means she needs to transform back into mortal form and get to casting her Earthblood to heal herself right back up. And not just herself. The Dragon-Blooded Shogungan is also damaged, and I believe the Warlord has 4-star Alchemist to below half of her HP as well. So everybody's going to need healing. And we certainly don't want that Warlord in our main line while we continue to hold off the Rat Hordes. Fortunately, we do still have ammunition, and we are still holding, having a little bit of trouble over on the left flank where a single unit of Jade Warriors is holding off Plague Monks, 2 units of Clan Rats, and I believe a couple of units of supporting range as well, which appear to be slinging their slings at the one and only aerial unit. Bombs still coming down from those Nan Gau Grenadiers, and I'm growing to like these guys quite a bit. The debuff that they can offer is very significant. It's only one use and it's not for too long, but for example, when fighting enemy lords, we can significantly debuff them. And then when an enemy blob attacks us, we can use it as well, which will be very nice in Miao Ying's pretty much all-range army later on. And I'd like to see how they combine with the other range units. Oh, don't do that, though. I was just singing your praises, and they volley all their grenades into the enemy Warlord, which I'm sure does a little bit of damage, would probably hurt our Jade Warriors more than it did the enemy. Anyway, nice bomb coming down from the from up above from the sky junk, and I don't know how much damage it did because, well, lots of the damage was dealt via the fire rain rockets, which do still come down on the enemy as well. Sky junk's down to about 40% of its HP, however, and it is getting a little bit concerning as reinforcements are still making their way onto the field, and the balance of power still remains in the enemy's favor. But the Jade Warriors are still holding. The enemy Warlord is down below half HP and is now booking it on out of there, together with many of his units. But as always, the nature of fighting these Skaven means that we have to force their units to rout and rally, what, 2-3 times maybe before they're gone for good? Alright, that's our main line. How are our horses? They're doing pretty good in the background. They've seen at least a few units off field and racked up a decent amount of kills while doing so. Probably the best use for them, though admittedly if they were to charge a unit of, well, at the very least Skaven Slave Slingers, they could probably do pretty well. Not so sure about the Knight Runners, though. Between the Snare Knight and the fact that Knight and Gutter Runners are decent melee fighters, the horses might not be all that well. Well, then again, these are the Slings units, so maybe we could have charged them, but we have to chase enemies down anyway. Anyway, it's kind of devolved into a skirmish now as we are starting to run completely out of ammunition. We can see that the Celestial Dragon crossbows are pretty much out. The Peasant Archers still have a couple more shots remaining. Nan Gau Grenadiers do have some ammo, but not a lot of HP left. We have moved over to the sort of rear left flank as well. And just so we could get closer to the Plague Monks that were still fighting here, because obviously in SFO they're unbreakable and thus have to be killed and down to a single rat. And then on top of that, we wanted to be close enough to the junk to heal it together with our single entities. Alright, a dark battle where we were fighting against the corruption, it seems, as much as the Skaven themselves, but the battle has finally... Actually, no, it hasn't. I was about to say finally shifted in our favor, but I'd still say it's only about 45% in our favor at this time, which is a little bit surprising, but I think because of the fact that we've run out of ammunition pretty much, the game is not valuing our Jade Warriors too highly, but I'm willing to bet, or Jade Crossbows, I'm willing to bet that the Celestial Dragon Crossbows and the Jade Crossbows alike would probably win in a melee contest against most of the enemy range units, like if both sides were to run out of ammunition, so I do gotta pay attention to that. And we still have grenades to be throwing, which is nice. The foundries of Nan Gau should be proud, and, well, we'll get more of these gunpowder units for Miao Ying as soon as we can. Won't be needing them too much longer in this battle, however, as the enemy army finally shatters with reinforcements with full HP still moving towards us, but I think the reinforcements only being Skaven slaves. That meant that they had no chance. A very, very long battle. Damn. I don't know, that was like a 10-minute long brawl between our armies. We suffered a lot of HP, used up all of our ammunition, tested our grenades. Pretty darn happy with that, so gotta thank the Skaven. Ooh, there we go. Got to love what these Skaven can do for you, providing those massive battles pretty much throughout the campaign. We got massive amounts of kills on pretty much every single unit, and I was really happy with the performance of the Nan Gau Grenadiers. They are particularly adept at wiping those Skaven out, and I'm sure we'll experience similar against things like Greenskins as well. It looks like the new Peasant Horsemen were quite instrumental in running down a lot of enemies. The Sky Junk was actually nearly destroyed, and I believe 2 or 3 of our units actually fled the battlefield as we were getting overrun. But still, 31,000 damage and 2.2k kills on Zhu Zhao here, but that's once again because of the units that were destroyed, though it does look nice, I gotta admit. And 62k damage on the Alchemist. Gotta love those Gehenna's Golden Hounds. Absolutely ridiculous spell for its cost. We will occupy the place, and we'll see where exactly these guys back off to. Hopefully they all don't... No, they're all gonna run around the mountain like this, aren't they? Game. No, you're gonna do the same thing. It's dumb. It is tremendously dumb, but what can you do? Maybe you can reach one? Nope, not one. Great. Okay, well, it is what it is. Miao Ying, then I guess we can put you into channeling stance. Well, I'll just go to the edge of the air. I shouldn't have transformed these guys into peasant horses as it took out your movement range, but oh well. Not a huge deal, at least I hope not. We'll go here. Nobody should be able to reach this location, and frankly... Okay, let me just see here. What is this? Seduce units, budget, corruption, Fuheng monk, yeah, that's fine. Warhorse, bandits of the Silver Road, peasant archers, hello. That is probably going to be needed here, frankly. I think both of you are going to be needed here. As there's a decent likelihood that there's not much you can do about a village right now. Then we're going to want to get Wall of Wind and Fire. You have plenty of mana, and you should be able to cast it. Probably Village is going to go after this guy, but if he acts as bait, I think that'll be fine. Now, Miao Ying, real quick. We're not going to get you any points right now because we're saving for your main unique line. What we are going to do is we're going to give you the Star Metal Plate armor over that laminate shield. We gain 5 melee defense, but I think the missile resistance is worth it, like really, really very much worth it. And your items are the Stormwind Coronal, which is also 10 melee defense, but otherwise this item is kind of meh. It seems inferior compared to an Armor of Destiny, but considering that the effect here will give us 5 ward save, it'll eventually overcome it. Huh, and interesting that the Vambraces of Yin give melee attack, melee defense, and nothing for range units, which is Miao Ying's mainstay as well. Go figure. Anyway, casting item, you can have the Trickster's Shard, and then maxes you out. You'll keep the Iron Curse icon until you find a healing potion or something along those lines. You will probably want to max out Gehenna's Golden Hounds, because it's really, really good. And great at wiping out those Skaven in particular. Otherwise, you... Okay, so Unyielding will buff the peasants, and you're still the peasant army. We could turn these two into peasant horses, although I'm not so sure that's all that useful. We do have buildings to be possibly building, though. Let's upgrade Nanli first. I want to max this out to get the Gate Masters available, though 3.6k is just so insanely expensive. Not collecting any income right now. Oh, wow, minus 20. Yeah, the rating. The terrible, terrible rating. What can you do? Gotta upgrade. No choice in the matter. And I guess we could do the same thing here, and we probably don't need the Fire Dragon's Edict here anymore. We can switch you to the Jade Dragon's Edict for the additional public order. And then do the same thing here. Oh. Alright, this place is being balanced right now, which is I guess fine. Keep it balanced. For when it potentially starts collecting income. You also will have potentially more peasants coming in, and I think I'd rather recruit additional peasants rather than anything else right now. They are cheap to recruit, and we can level them up as needed, so there's that as well. I guess technically the Jade Warriors, well, not that much more expensive to recruit, but it's fine. Right now I'd rather save the cash. Although, wait, you recruit them at rank 1. Shouldn't you recruit them at rank 2? You have the bonus, unless this is reducing the recruit rank minus 2. Oh, that's not good. Wait. That's interesting. So this gives us a +2 recruit rank for peasants, but then this takes away the recruit rank unless we build another Harmony building, which I guess we're gonna have to, but yeah, that's kind of annoying. At least for now. We have to keep the Fire Dragon's Edict here because we need the movement range, and otherwise I think we are good to go. Can you use any items? I guess we could give you the Anchor Chain. I'm just going to hope that you don't lose it, but you may need to fight Village, and frankly, Village is so difficult to bring down. We'll give the Anchor Chain eventually to Miao Ying, but right now... she probably wants to keep using the Jade Amulet for additional casting capabilities, so Laminate Shield for you, and Giant Blade. The other guy is acting as bait, so I wouldn't trust giving him any of these items. Alright, the rest of that I believe is good, or at the very least we're not looking to build anything. Hey, we got the gem mine here. Unfortunately we can't collect because, yeah, this is horrific. Can't really build anything, and you know what, just leave it as it is, even the cheap buildings, unless there's a public order building. What's a public order building? It's you, right? 1500? Yeah, that's not happening. Diplomacy is next, real quick. Other Cathans are kind of upsetty at us, but at least we can trade with Emmerich. So there's that. Hopefully Goldtooth doesn't hate him, as that might happen. There is a bit of an aversion. Eastern River Lords we can ignore. Jade Custodians I'd rather ignore for now. And Clannishan doesn't want to peace out, meaning that Deathmaster Cinch's main stack is probably still in decent shape. Interesting. Alright, let's skip the rest of this. Not the Caravan Dispatch, however. And we have to figure out where to send you where they won't get caught and killed by something. One or more Ogre camps are present. Well, that's unfortunate. And but this is our stronger caravan, so we can probably send it a ways away. Somebody suggested we head to Castle Drakenhof next because of the life-stealing weapon that it provides us, so I guess that'll be the next place. And wait. Oh, we can head to... No, we can't head to Nashrek's Lair. Okay. Man, there's a lot of places we haven't visited yet. Alright, so Castle Drakenhof will max out the cargo once again. It'll... Oh! Only gives us 2.5k. It's really not that much. Huh. A moment. How do I select the... Wait. Did I level you guys up? No, I did not. Okay, we should do that now. And, oh wow, this is our biggest army, but it's not a crazy army. There's a lot of peasants in there. You can probably get the Wayfinders at least because of the Caravan Intercept thing. And I'm gonna say hidden stores. Frankly, we want to max out everything, especially because of the replenishment in foreign territory here, so we'll do that. I don't really care about the cargo so much right now. Eventually. For now, I'd mostly want the caravans to survive. Alright, head to Castle Drakenhof. And... I mean, 2.5k for 1,000 versus 1... I mean, I guess just do it, whatever. I don't think you're gonna die. I hope so. Anyway, not skip the commandment available. Turtle Gate. Oh, we have commandments here. I didn't even realize. Bastion enhanced, Bastion restored, unit experience gain, Great Bastion threat -1 per turn, and growth plus 100, but construction time increase. You know, I'm gonna ignore the growth for now. Oh! Bastion collects income now? Huh. Maybe it always did. I don't know. But that's neat. I'm gonna say start with the Bastion patrolled because of the... Yeah. We don't need to deal with any new armies right now, so let's just do that, and then we'll switch it up later on. Although, you know what? Here we'll do Bastion Enhance for the additional unit experience gain to train up the piles of peasants that we have here. At least we have 2 full peasant stacks now, which will come in handy, I'm sure. Anyway, end the turn. Let's see what happens. Miao Ying might get attacked. The village will probably attack, and we have to keep going. Might even want to... So Skaven are here, and then presumably not here. But if we go out here, what we will do is we will find the Blessed Dread, which will then inevitably attack us. Frankly, the Undead will attack us as well. Yeah, that's a pretty fun start position. I'm quite enjoying it, I gotta say. Gotta love it when you're completely surrounded by enemies, at least for now. We will overcome. Alright, and Village will indeed attack, and he will go for the bait, but that's just fine. We have a lot of units coming in as the garrison. I'm just checking. Oh, he has that Doom Knights units. He starts with rather, and they're probably gonna knock those Sky Lanterns out of the sky. The problem here is we like armor piercing. How will we deal with the Doom Knights? I'm not sure. Guess we'll have to figure it out. Go.
Ancestors will see how hard you fight, and their judgment goes far beyond this world. So fight for them, and for Cathay!
Alrighty, that's a big old bonkin hammer that Mr. Man here is holding, and, well, we'll hopefully see it put to great effect. Now, kind of an interesting position we're in. The enemy army is heading directly towards us, and we got 2 minutes, now a minute and 30 seconds, until our own reinforcements arrive. Now, interestingly, our reinforcements are going to come down this valley here, and, this is interesting. We might actually get trapped here. Okay, for now though, it looks like the Doom Knights have found our poor Celestial General. We did leave him out here to be bait, and he is still serving as such by the looks of it. Let's see if that hammer can break the barrier of those Doom Knights before they surround him and kill him, and maybe knock a Doom Knight out or two. And actually looks like they're going to back off while the doggos move on. And frankly, the doggos, due to their smaller models, are more likely to do tons of damage, I guess. On the other hand, this guy is reasonably well armored, so it is, and it's going to take them a while. And other doggos are moving forward once again towards our reinforcing units. That is not good. Fortunately, most of the enemy Chaos Warriors are rather slow, and double fortunately, it looks like an enemy Sorcerer has arrived. A Sorcerer of Metal. We need to try to knock him out, so we're going to summon our units of Ancestral Guardians, and it looks like the Sorcerer will react to that immediately by using both Gehenna's Golden Hounds and Searing Doom upon them. Probably a decent choice, as this summoned unit is ethereal and an SFO that means 75% physical resistance, but it does mean that the hounds that were there got cleared, and the Chaos Sorcerer will still have to contend with facing off against our Celestial General. The other units, however, are arriving on the field at last, and at the very least we'll get other single entities moving towards the enemy. Unfortunately, though, the Doom Knights are wise to this, and they're gonna head towards something. We're still trying to make our way onto the field, and oh, that's not good at all. They're going to come down right where our reinforcements are making their way onto the field, and they can't make their way past them, meaning that the AI has our units stuck. If I did this to the AI, well, I wouldn't do this to the AI, but I would, but if I did, I wouldn't, but if I did, I definitely feel really bad about it, because it's obnoxious. Well, sometimes the AI does things like that as well. Anyway, we're still fighting. Wall of wind and fire comes down and will slowly but surely make its way through the piles of enemies below. Not doing a crazy amount of damage to the Chaos Warriors, but I'm sure dishing out at least some to the enemy infantry. And just out of curiosity, let's see, 81 kills and 32k damage. Yeah, not too bad at all. Though I think that was with a Dragon's Breath used as well. Anyway, every single one of our range units, every single one is completely trapped by these bloody Doom Knights, and we can't move them past. At least some of our melee units managed to make it forward, meaning that they're just going to have to do their best to hold the tide of enemies back until the range units are ready to move. Unfortunately, most of the range or melee units that we have in this particular army are the long spears, and thus the peasant units. So they're basic, they have low armor, and the enemy should be able to cut through them. We do still have at least a few of our ancestral warriors fighting. Not too many, and they got 42 seconds until they disappear anyway, being a summoned unit as well. But that's the second time these guys have come in really, really clutch, because it's sort of in the same way that the enemy is blocking our reinforcements, we're kind of blocking theirs. Finally, at last, the Doom Knights are destroyed. We've had the Sky Lanterns firing away at them the entire time. They got 9 kills. They're probably firing in all directions, so it's not... I doubt that they killed 9 Doom Knights. The Empress Crowman helped out as well, and finally our range units are going to make their way forward and start firing at the enemy. I do believe our Dragon-Blooded Shogungan and our Celestial General have backed off now. They don't want to be drawn into a direct contest with Village. At least not until Village puts himself in danger, or themselves in danger, and then moves themselves forward. Alright, now that those Doom Knights are gone, however, we have a much better position than we did before. Ordered ranks of Cathans and sort of concentric rings of units with the Jade Warriors interspersed among the peasants. We also do have a couple of units of horses and Jade Lancers back here, but they, well, it'll be a bit before we can actually commit them, because they can't really get through all of this. Alright, and we do have the Eye of the Dragon from our Sky Lantern, buffing everybody up, so a little bit of bonus accuracy as well. And missile resistance, gonna have to send at least a few of our spears forward. And I do see Gleam Magic having been used by Village on our Dragon-Blooded Shogungan. Unfortunately, Village basically took all our mana, so we probably won't be able to cast too much more, if at all. But it is what it is. At least our range units are firing now, and it's still taking a fairly long time for the enemy to break through our formations of peasants. Village is, of course, in this fight, and he is definitely one of the tankiest lords, so it's going to be very difficult to deal with him here. He's also going to be spamming that blue and pink fire through our blobs of units. we'll definitely want to try our best to outlast them. Chaos Warriors and Marauders still being held back, trying to make their way through the droves of peasants, but there's still many more peasants to go. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of peasant long spears held in reserve still. And if push comes to shove, we can try to charge down this valley with our cap. We also have the Empress's, what are they called? Empress Crowman. Oh, I was right about that. Yeah, who I didn't know. I thought it was a one-use ability because I didn't read it. That's what I get. The Nan Gau grenades are actually 10-second duration, so they do keep dropping them. I figured we use them and then we back off, which is what you normally do with the bomb-dropping units. Like the Pterodon Riders and, I don't know, pretty much anything I can think of that drops bombs doesn't drop them continuously like that. But I guess I guess that one unit does live and learn, I guess, assuming that we do live. Although it does look pretty good for us right now. The balance of power has shifted to about 70% in our favor, and the enemy is still failing to break through the tight formations of peasants. And I do believe Village is kind of in trouble as well, having dropped down to about 10% of his HP, having received many a bonk from the Celestial General and the Dragon-Blooded Shogun alike. I guess he's activated Gleam Magic once again and is now growing bright under the spotlight of his magics, but maybe that's not such a good idea on the battlefield, at least not all the time. Arrows still endlessly come down. And you gotta love SFO for this. I mean, the sort of inflated values, the HP of all the units means that battles have a tendency to last longer, and these guys have been brawling like this for quite a while now. Not to the length of historical Total War titles, perhaps, but still considerably longer than we'd get in vanilla. Alrighty, and Village is just about done, frankly. Most of his units are just about done. We can see them melting away, the demonic at least, and I'd be willing to wager that there we go, the mortal units will shatter and give the battle to us. Kind of interesting. I'm almost wondering whether well, no. I was about to say, I was wondering whether the Doom Knights helped us, really, but we probably wouldn't have been able to, or wouldn't have intended to advance past this location anyway now, so that was still really, really annoying. And there was the fact that all of our range units couldn't fire for like half the battle due to being pressed against the reinforcement location. Oh well. Still worked out reasonably well for us, and Village's main stack is destroyed, so we just gotta make sure we plug the breach in the bastion fast as we can. Ooh, all right, there we go. That was an interesting fight. Also interesting the way that the dynamic has changed in the sense that we are fighting very big battles in this episode compared to the smaller fights of the first episode. But that also does, I guess, kind of make decent sense. We got decent amount of cash, 3,000 gold for our trouble. Village is defeated, at least for now. Though I think we probably won't be killing him off yet. As well, A, we have to get there. B, we have to reclaim the Bastion, and C, he has a really nice defeat trait, so that's one we want on Miao Ying, and that's for certain. Otherwise, the weird aspect of that fight was, oh wow, 46k damage on who, but the weird aspect of that fight was what those Doom Knights did. They kind of prevented us from moving on to the battlefield. I think that if we hadn't managed to knock out that Chaos Sorcerer of Metal with a combination of our Celestial General and our Dragon-Blooded Shogun, that would have been, well, a pretty big issue if he had managed to cast a Gehenna's Golden Hounds or a Searing Doom on top of our blobbed up units. But we managed to pull it off, so we'll pardon those captives. They will back up. We'll destroy them. And hopefully reclaim the Bastion shortly. Ooh, I see the Burning Wind Nomads running around there, though. Where are you going, Skaven? Jiao-Ming, please take care of those Skaven. Don't let them reclaim these territories. We're not at war with them yet, but that may very well change. Confederation, Western provinces and... Oh, ha ha ha, they confederated them rather than... well, they asked us first, I guess. Makes sense, and we said no. War Banner, conjoined separated, plus 5 melee defense and plus 25 winds of magic power reserve capacity. Once again, fantastic defeat trait that we want on Miao Ying. Snake Gate is besieged. Are you insane? You got nothing. You got nothing. Die. No, we're gonna auto-resolve. This is a waste of time. Frankly, these units shouldn't have been that hurt, but that's fine. It's a little bit of free cash, which we'll certainly take as we need it to get our economy going. Kurgan Warband destroyed. Great Bastion threat minus 20%. Lovely. I do see these guys running around with another full stack, and we will need to deal. You two. In fact, I probably should have let Village live so that we could, you know, wipe him out again, get that double up on the defeat tray, but it is what it is. You have now been trained and can upgrade yourself to Jade Warriors, which are still rather cheap. You, I think, will go for an Iron Hail Gunner. Like so. Lovely. Training them up. And I guess you can attack this now. Alright, not a resolve. I wonder if that Beastman tribe is still running around or whether it's been destroyed. Alright, let me kill them. Battle Gold Sigil Sword and Berserker Sword. Well, hold on to it for... Actually, no, you know what? Take the Gold Sigil and the Berserker Sword, fuse them up into an Obsidian Lodestone. Something. I guess we could put it on, I don't know, Alchemists or on... possibly Astromancers. Of course, we'll need to get Astromancers, but we're working on it. Anyway, head to Pomei first, and then we'll head to... Why is there still... Oh. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Who are you at war with currently? Just the Celestial Loyalists. If they... Oh, they're also raiding our territory, aren't they? You know what? Well, that doesn't do anything for us. Do it anyway. Just because we can. Other factions might like it, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna go here. I'm going to hope that this Beastman tribe can't actually reach us here, and if they get any closer, we might be looking to destroy them. We do still have the Fire Dragon's Edict, so we can move quite far now. Alright, Miao Ying.
The Storm Dragon.
I guess we're still having to chase down Village. Kunlun is still fine, and, You're willing to peace out now, are you? No. Unfortunately not. I just really didn't want to come into diplomatic contact with the Blessed Dread as yet, because obviously that's dangerous for us. Kind of worried about moving you closer, because I do like your Jade Warrior army.
The majestic defender.
I guess we'll have to move Miao Ying by herself. I was about to say channel, but you don't need to, you're full. Okay, fine. We're heading to the Village of the Moon. We can trespass in these guys' territory, I guess. So go this way. And we'll see what's going on there. I would like to get at least one defeat trade against Village, and yeah, we got that diplomatic contact now, which means a war declaration is sure to follow soon. You know what, you stay here for now. I don't think any of these guys can reach us. I would also like you to leave. How do you feel about us? 1. And you're at war with the Chosen, and we don't know who that is, and why haven't you reclaimed your entire territory there, Jiao-Ming? Come on, man. Alright, Administrator. Can we afford to build anything? Is the question. That's one of the questions. Well, plus you also want to move forward to transfer stuff, so you're gonna go like this. I assume there's no other village nearby. No other village nearby, you know what I mean. I don't even know what I mean. Any other army belonging to him. We're gonna go here. We need to upgrade Pomei as fast as possible. Frankly... Temple of Jade-Blooded Sorcerers is also really nice. But we could build it cheaper if we build the Stonemason's workshop. Both are viable. Our growth is relatively slow right now. Wait, does this give us any additional growth? It does. Everywhere, in fact. And this will give us a 10% reduction. You know what? I think we're gonna start with this Temple of Jade-Blooded Sorcerers. Go. And we'll keep hold of the rest of the cash that we have because I don't trust it. Alright. Good. The rest of this is decent for now. You could max out your... we could get Strength of Yang. You are casting quite a bit. I was also looking to get Unyielding. You know what? Let's start buffing up your units because you might need to fight. In fact, there's probably no might about it. I don't think the gates will fall, but we can rush the gates with various armies now. And oh, we can also transfer your units, and since we're keeping you around, we can have you reinforced. I would like to take another quick look at what we have. Rigorous training. We do like that rigorous training, which we will want to get in our own army. There's another guardian, but we already have one. There's another steadfast one, but we don't need it. Oh, melee attack for great longbow riders. I prefer the melee defense, I think. It's more valuable. Logistics, sort of anti-heroes, vigor, nothing crazy here. Alright, the rest of that I guess we can ignore. Yeah, you're fine where you are, you're fine where you are-ish. You are fine where you are, though we will delete you eventually, because I don't particularly like your trait. Yeah, it's kind of garbage. It's a terrible, terrible trait. I think the Celestial Generals seem to have just much worse traits than the other lords do. Also, how's our public order? Ooh. It's about to make us lose campaign movement range. We could uncollect the income, but we can't afford to do so right now. How about our other locations? The Bastions are collecting a little bit of cash. We could collect a bit of cash here, but it's not much, and this is our military province anyway. This is losing too much public order. It's the Confederation that's screwing us over, but we needed to get the Bastion, so we're just gonna have to live with it for another 4 turns? Eh. Still a lot, but anyway. Deal with it. End turn. Well, let's see about Deathmaster Snitch. And, of course, if Mr. Blessed Dread, if Lokir Felhard decides to declare war on us, we may have to back off, at least from the southern portion of our territory, until we fix our economy. Ah, man, yeah, we're definitely going to have to park a full stack at Dragon Gate until we get it up and running. The other territories can at least defend themselves. Alright, looks like I was about to say Skaven Beastman army backed off, and what do we have here? Ooh, hello. That's a solid stack. That's a very solid stack. Ooh, or diplomatic relations with Goldtooth. I do want a defensive alliance with him, though. Oh, man. 200 cargo for 400. I mean, the cargo isn't actually worth all that much right now. I am tempted to fight this, but 40 diplo relations. I think we're actually going to do this. We'll fight them next time. Pay troll. Pay toll, rather. Moonhowl is destroyed. That's not a problem. Burning Wind Nomads destroyed as well. Magic drained. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. Bolstered leadership. Immunity to psychology. That'll help our peasant armies right now. Upkeep production for Yang units. Good. Meaning we can now switch immediately to upkeep production for Yin units as well. So that's here. Grace of Chui Yin. Alright, gonna be a while before we get to it. What else do we have here? Missile resistance for all characters, recruit rank for Dragon-Blooded Shogun, and weapon strength for all characters. Good, but not 2,500 gold good. Let's be real. Alright, and the rest of that is fine. So, I assume that this guy will be attacking Turtle Gate, but there's no way. There's no way he's taking that. Now, what do we have in terms of defenses here? Basically nothing. Oh, lovely. So, we're gonna have you... Oh, you can't reach it? Oh, don't tell me none of you can reach it. None of you can reach it. Wellity, wellity, wellity. That's not swovely. Let's move you close then. And hit it next turn, unless... Nope. You can't reach it either. But Snake Gate is fine, so all of you can move this way. Move together. And then you... Well, stay here. Maybe what I should have done is transferred some more troops to this guy. Frankly, you should probably take his place, now that you have conjoined Separated and Anathema. Though, frankly, now that you have conjoined Separated and Anathema, you might actually be a lord that's worth, you know, fighting as. We also want that war banner on our... that's a question. And the Grace of Chui Yin will benefit from it, because they do fight in melee occasionally, so they might actually benefit from it more. And then the Sky Junk will. That's a question. And hello, Deathmaster Snitch. Now you're kind of in an interesting place. Miao Ying. Okay, I hope I don't regret this. You're gonna go here.
On tempestuous foot.
And we'll attack you with... He's gonna run. The main issue is, will he be able to kill you off? We might have to delete this army afterwards. Might not have a choice in the matter. But to find out. Okay, so you're gonna run. And we won't be able to catch you. Kind of annoying that you can run through this army, but it is what it is. And then, yeah, so... I assume he can pass through. Meaning, for at least a few turns, we're going to have to get you off the field. So we're going to disband you for now. We'll bring you back, bring you right back. But this way, we'll at least keep Deathmaster Snitch from killing you and save a little bit of cash. You go closer to Snitch. Let's see what he does. He might actually ambush us, but it's Skaven slaves. It's not a big deal. Though he might have other armies, I suppose. And he's still not willing to peace out, which means he probably does have other armies. So good for him. Administrator. Okay, you guys will all need to swap units around. And do we build anything? No, we can't really afford it anyway. All right, so
The dragon blood.
I guess you'll want to transfer more peasants to this army. As many as you can, anyway.
Our path is clear.
Huh, exactly 6. Perfect.
Commander of the great city.
Alright, giant hordes of peasants. They're working, I guess. At least for now, and then back up. Hopefully they don't have to fight those beastmen yet, because that'll be an issue if they do. Alright, and then you will advance here as well. Might as well leech the XP from attacking with these guys, and oh, all of you will need to channel, especially with Village being annoying and draining all your mana. It was a big issue in that particular fight. You will also inspiring recruitment. Let's see, we're leaving Miao Ying's points because we're holding them. You will use inspiring presence and root marcher. For now. You will use, I guess, root marcher as well. I know, wait. Do we want to get maybe Blossom Wind? So that you can actually cast? In the event that you actually need to? I'm gonna say probably yes. Does the Overcast Missile Mirror? No, it still only affects one unit. Okay, well then just go for Blossom. Alright, and then lastly, you guy, who we will eventually delete, still grab Inspiring Presence, and you know what, grab Hard to Hit as well. You're not moving anywhere out of this place. Next up, quick check on the Lords. Meh. Although Bastion Guardian giving experience gain per turn might be a good option in the sense that it might allow him to sort of sit there and then not suffer any losses from it. If you're wondering why I'm constantly checking like this, it's because over time these lords become more and more expensive. At some point they'll become crazy expensive, and I want to get those lords that we really want on the field as early as possible. Like this guy, Rigorous Training. We'll probably get you shortly. I just don't want to spend the 770 gold right now. Speaking of gold spending, nothing at the gate, nothing here, or at least nothing we want to build. Maybe the gem factors for more money. We do have the administrator in this army still, or in the settlement still. And what is this? Oh, that's a Confederation. Damn you, Confederation. I keep wondering why the public order is so horrendous, but it is what it is. Yeah, you can stay in the Bastion Enhanced for now. We'll probably send another unit or army there. Warpstone Desert. I'm kind of almost disinclined to invest in you right now, because if the rats here attack, we have nobody to defend, except Changyang, which should be able to defend itself, but the others not so much. Anyway, skip, and dip low, and then end turn, and we'll see what Deathmaster Snitch does. Hopefully attacks us, but we'll have to wait and see. Everland, you want to be friends? Sure, Everland. Give us your money, and then we'll be friends. And we got how many more turns? Journey time, 4 turns. Lovely. Okay. End turn. Alright, Deathmaster Snitch, come on, you got a great opportunity. We're in March stance, you can ambush us and hit all of our range units, which can't defend themselves so well. And oh, Snitchy, you poor rat. I love you, man. One of my favorite voices in the game. Skulltakers is also amazing. Scrags is amazing, mostly because it's the creepiest. Or, well, Scrag in general is just such a creepy character. Warbanner. What does this do again? Alright, the leadership reduction. Let's put to you on, I don't know, one of you, Warband. I'm going to say the Grace of Triyin, just because they'll probably fight a little bit more. And especially because the ammunition on the Skyjunk is so low that it's probably... Oh, did I put this on the wrong thing? Yeah. Ammunition on it is so low that it doesn't really, it's not so great. Anyway, we'll fight this. It's not much of a battle, but it's medium casualties, and we are not healing right now, so go.
You will see your families again. This the Storm Dragon swears to
Alrighty, yeah, I wanted to hear her say that speech again because I was curious, does she imply that they will see their families again while alive? And no, maybe they just mean that they'll be ancestor spirits or something, because it's a distinct possibility. Anyway, getting these big old balloons into these caverns is probably dangerous. There's clearly crazy Skaven scaffolding and stuff going on up there. Could just drop a screaming bell and down upon the flyer, and bam. Farewell, sky junk. Still, gotta love the map. It's a pretty cool one. And there are some really nice looking underway battle maps. But anyway, Deathmaster Snitch, unfortunately for him, he doesn't have a particularly good army, mostly Skaven slaves, and thus weaker than the Night Runner spam that we ran into the first time we faced off against the Skaven. We are also not being annoyed by the enemy army, as in we are going to be allowed to take a more advantageous position, which I'm happy about. We're going to take a position right here in the light, essentially, rather than fighting the Skaven in the dark again. And just sit here and annoy the enemy with fire rain rockets until they're ready to move towards us. Lovely. And it does look like at least a few of the enemy units are in the light as well, which is great. So that we can actually see what's happening with them. I kind of got used to the Skaven having red eyes with the Red Eyes Skaven mod that we don't have here, but I suppose when you're not playing as the Skaven, it's not as big a deal, I would say. Anyway, fire rain rockets continue. Obviously not going to be as effective as having a actual couple of fire rain rockets, but the ability to reposition the sky junk is pretty darn valuable in and of itself. Plus, it just looks so cool floating up there. There we go. And man, the newly released Cathay minis for Old World look pretty darn fantastic as well. Seems pretty darn appropriate to be playing Cathay and giving them proper due with this campaign together with that release. Anyway, here we go. The enemy army is annoyed at us, or annoyed sufficiently to move towards us, and we're going to get ready to move towards them as well. Miao Ying will take up dragon form, though I suppose she could have done the buff everybody with magical damage thing as well, should she have desired to do so. Looks like not a single one of the enemy units will be destroyed before they actually get into range, but that's fine by me. Fire away. Can't even quite see them over our other troops, but that's the benefit of having our arcing units. I suppose later on, where we're going to have more sort of straight line firing, direct fire units, Iron Hail Gunners and Crane Gunners, this position wouldn't have been as viable, and we would have needed thus to move forward a little bit so we could fire downhill. Ooh, the grenades falling downhill, that's fantastic. That's gotta be a scary hill to make your way up towards. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You gotta love the gunpowder units. And while Miao Ying is going to be having a sort of mixed ranged army, I definitely want to do a gunpowder style army, probably mixing with various gunpowder units of other armies. And damn, Miao Ying still taking massive amounts of damage from those Night Runner slingers. Who? Ooh, I wanted to see this. When in Deathmaster Snitch's army. Huh. Wait, the Night Runner slings, not the shuriken, have 10 armor-piercing damage. Damn, that's, yeah, well, that explains why Miao Ying lost all her HP just trying to get to Deathmaster Snitch. Go figure. Alright, really gotta be wary of that. What's her missile resistance at, by the way? 45%, that's with 45% missile resistance. Dang. Well, lucky she's got Lure of Life and can heal, because she is definitely gonna need it. Anyway, Deathmaster Snitch has broken through our battle line, and I can't see him. There he is. And he's... What are you doing, Snitch? He's kind of running around and annoying us, so we're going to try to stop him in his tracks with our alchemist, but yeah, there's no chance of fighting him as she rapidly loses half of her HP. Just gonna have to mob him with some units while we continue dealing with his army, though frankly it's mostly Skaven slaves and not too big of a concern. It'll mostly be the the enemy Night Runners that we have to deal with. Snitch is down to about half HP as Miao Ying has arrived once more. The grenades and the fire rain rockets from the Sky Junk alike are obliterating the last of the enemy units that are still fighting, and now it's just time to deal with Snitch. I didn't want to... Well, we couldn't take Dragon form again anyway because we have to wait for the cooldown. But that's alright because we need to heal some units anyway. So it works out reasonably well for us. Snitch is down to about half of his HP, still popping that World of Weeping Blades, and I'm sure killing off at least a few of our Jade Warriors or our Celestial Dragon crossbows, but not so many that it's going to be too big of a concern for us as he begins to tire. And the rest of his army begins to be destroyed. Okay, Nan Gau Grenadiers, careful, don't move so much forward, you're gonna get hit by our own arrows. They just really wanted to chuck bombs at rats, and you know what? Who can blame them? Look at that, that's glorious. I love bomber units, they're so fun. Alrighty, and I wanted to combine these units in some campaigns. Maybe there'll be a major aspect of our fire army here. What we could do is combine the Jade Lions, because they cause flammable and can act as monstrous infantry that probably won't take too much damage from the bombs. Combine them with the Great Moonbird, which also causes a fire damage reduction. So those are some main fire units, and then get a few Grand Cannons in for a single target. And that'll be a nice fire army. Maybe we'll have Jishu lead that as well, because I did want her to lead a fire army as well. Anyway, that's in the future, but I think I would say that that's certainly a plan. Decisive victory for us, and a rather nice fight, though not so much for poor Snitch. Alright, there we go. Nice fight. Deathmaster Snitch was certainly causing us a little bit of a headache, and Miao Ying got hit by those Night Runners of his. Can't be underestimating the power-ups that they get. Slingers or no. We got 5k and 4.4k on these two. Technically, they got no kills, but yeah, the damage was there. And speaking of, we can notice that the entire army got no kills. Well, obviously, the Night Runners were all focused on Miao Ying, so that's 10,000 damage to her from these two. But the actual kills came from the Eshin Sorcerer and from Deathmaster Snitch himself, which is hardly surprising. The money is actually relatively minimal, so I think we'll use Venerate in order to heal up, as I think we're not in our own territory. And Snitchy should be out of the picture very, very soon. And if we can reclaim the Bastion and then hold it, we may not need to essentially move Miao Ying up there as yet, which would be good. Take more territory and, well, hopefully build up our econ. It's going to take a while to get it kickstarted after all. What do we have here? Repel ambushers or pay money? We're not paying money, I can tell you that right now. So, Thrug Bellyhammer. Pathfinders have scouted ahead and discovered an ambush is being set. There is a branching road that will veer us away from the danger, but delay the caravan's arrival. The other option is to take the caravan along the original route, repel the ambushers, and arrive on time. Repel ambushers. Alrighty, and, well, they do have a couple of Mournfangs, which, frankly, our peasants will not be able to stop the charge of. But nonetheless, should be pretty fun. And we get to use a gyrocopter and a bunch of Jade Lancers, which should be entertaining as well. Go.
Remember your training. Trust in the dragons, and victory shall be certain.
Alrighty, here we go. A nice little bit of variety in terms of the foes that we face off against. Last episode, we mostly fought other Cathians with one Ogre Caravan exception, and then I guess the same we get here. One Ogre Caravan exception, but of course, we've been fighting other factions this episode. Nice variety between the rats and the forces of chaos. Also, a lovely looking map. It's a little bit dark, but not so dark that everything isn't nice and visible, and gotta appreciate the Chaos Dwarfs maps for it. Now, the big threat here is going to be the enemy Mournfang Cavalry. 90 armor on them, and actually that's more armor than is gonna be good for us, plus 10% physical resistance. And while I'm sure we'll be laying down plenty of arrow fire with our peasant bows, as we know, the damages or the armor-piercing damage is basically non-existent on them. Gonna start on the Ogre Bulls, because fortunately they have very little armor, and we're going to hope that the Jade Warriors with halberds can hold the Mournfangs off long enough. Alright, here they come. And the polearms are ready for the Ogre charge, who had to make their way uphill. They'll send at least a few units back with their mass, but fortunately we set a second unit behind them, because we knew that the enemy would make their way through. In addition to that, we've got the Jade Lancers over in the background, who will first start by taking out the enemy Noblar Trappers. I'll send at least a few of them flying, and at least distract them, while the big old piles of Mournfangs and Ogre Bulls continue to hold or be held back by our Jade Warriors. Over on the right flank, it did look like a unit of Mournfangs did try to loop around us, but it looks like the unit of Gyrocopters managed to see them off, or at least force them to back off, and it looks like they're moving here to where the main portion of the battle is happening. Does look like the enemy did manage to open up a hole in our line, so we're going to plug said hole with the Jade Lancers there, Giggle, and drop a few bombs on the enemies below. It's not going to really do anything to the Ogre Bulls or the Mournfangs by the looks of it, but I'm sure it's a little bit of morale damage, and it'll kill the Noblars below them, so that's not, well, it's not nothing. And damn, the Mournfangs are huge. Just gotta keep holding them back. We probably can't fight on par with them with our Jade Lancers, at least not without significant buffs, so we're gonna back the Jade Lancers off and keep firing into the Mournfangs with range units, and now with the Gyrocopters as well, who have racked up a solid 130,000 damage and 16,000 damage and 132 kills. Rest of our Jade Lancers are just being menaces in the background, riding through enemies, forcing units to rout. Here they charge the Saber Tusk Pack in order to prevent them from flanking around us, while a first unit of Mournfangs is backing off, so we'll give chase to them with one of our Jade Lancers, while the Gyrocopters and all the other range units switch to the second unit of Mournfangs. We have started to surround them as well, as more units of long spears have arrived to pin them or pen them, and it looks like they're wavering. The balance of power has shifted to about 75% in our favor, and a little bit more work, and these ogres will be done for. Even with those arrows doing almost no damage, they gotta be really, really irritating, right? There we go, and they actually do manage to bring one of the Mournfangs down. The unit will break. The balance power shifts to about 90% in our favor, and who's still fighting? Looks like the enemy Hunter and the enemy Lord, which has, admittedly, managed to dish out about 60% damage to our own Lord, which is particularly impressive for a Slaughtermaster, as it's, well, not a Tyrant. Or a Paymaster. I do like those Paymasters, though, now that we have them. I wonder how they're like in SFO. Anyway, the enemy Lord is shaken and very tired, still going to manage to get one more Spirit Leech off by the looks of it, but otherwise, I don't think that he has a prayer, either he or his Hunter minion. And are you done, sir? No, still shaking and very tired. Damn, these single entities. I'm surprised that the rest of the entire enemy army has broken and these guys are still fighting. Though admittedly, the Jade Warriors don't do too much damage in melee, so it does make sense that these guys are still in it to some degree. And I do certainly love seeing ogres who tower over the infantry like this, being sort of less numerous, isolated like this, and then just killing off half a dozen units with every blow. It's interesting to see. Not so interesting perhaps for our Jade Warriors or peasants, but with that, it looks like the enemy will break and the battle will be ours. Our Jade Lancers prevented any of the enemy units from rallying, which was the critical thing in this particular battle, as otherwise, with the enemy single entities still fighting, pretty much all the units that had routed would have rallied. Good to have this many cav, and can't wait to get some of our Jade Lancers of our own to see what heights we can push them to with buffs and upgrades. Alright, another nice fight. Let's see, 7 to 9k damage on the archers. I was curious how much damage they dealt considering they were firing at the fairly heavily armored Mournfangs, and certainly they didn't get a lot of kills, but, well, that does make sense. In context, 1500 gold, and we do... will we need replenishment? We're still relatively okay. I'm gonna risk it and say no, and hopefully this caravan gets to where it needs to be without any further interference. And that looks like that was the end of the turn. Enemy killed in battle, Death Master by nature. Stock on Miao Ying is pretty interesting in and of itself, so yeah, we'll keep it. Let's grab the Village of the Moon for ourselves. And we should probably stop on by at Kunlun. We can presumably auto-resolve this. I'm gonna hope that that this doesn't hurt us too badly. Well, it hurt the Jade... Oh, wow, the poor peasant horses. But oh well. We will occupy. And we will continue not collecting the income. Frankly, this place is decently likely to rebel. Maybe if we can grab the Jadewind Mountain real quick and then grab Kunlun and allow the rebellion to happen there instead. That would be decent, but I'm not super holding my breath for, you know, necessarily maintaining this particular territory. Not a big deal. We have the Yang balance up and running now as well, so it's bonus. That doesn't actually work for us, especially the control losses, but do we bother transforming these items, or these buildings? You know what, keep this, we'll transform this one, it's only 800 gold, and then hopefully that'll keep it balanced-ish. And otherwise, we'll keep it as it is. Okay, there we go. There's that. Thunder gets destroyed. Drill for the Emperor. Dragon. Okay, the right expires, which means no more free XP, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Another Sword Master, which is good. I want to double check whether we have one here, because you actually have some Jade Warriors for now, until they're going to be transferred to another army. Good job to the peasants for getting up there. Anyway, free gold and armor of silvered steel. Nice. Administrator, back to you, sir. Okay, you guys are gonna hit that bastion gate, and these guys will not be able to stop us by the looks of it. Is it just a... Yeah, it's just a free occupy, meaning... We can't go through it anyway, or maybe we can. Wait. You have free movement, so you're gonna grab the gate. There's nobody there, and just occupy it. And then we'll immediately want to start building it. Oh, wait, we have the administrator here. Briefly go back here, and that'll reduce the construction cost very slightly. Saved 50 gold. We can't upgrade this gate or this gate. We probably could build something. Probably not any of the basic tier buildings, though. So it should be the higher tier buildings. So we could also ignore them. Defensive supplies and growth. It is all provinces, once again. So that's probably what we're going to get, but hold off on it for now because our economy is suffering. Minus 17, good lord. It is giving us bonus control, which ain't much, but it's something. 2 more turns, just need to wait 2 more turns and it'll sort of fix itself-ish. Alrighty, well, we need to defend this anyway, and the question was, can we reach Dragon's Crossroad? We can! Lovely. Lovely indeed. We can march towards it with all of these. Well, actually, can you... You're gonna have to march stance your way there.
Redouble your speed.
And then you can use regular stance to go towards it, unless you want to switch to harmony stance, which, frankly, doesn't really do anything for us. Alright, fantastic. So you guys are gonna do that. You can also reinforce, though. I think we saw another one of Village's armies out there. How strong is this faction? Frankly, wiping them out shortly would be really nice. Let's just take a quick look here. USAC have 4 settlements. Oh my. Good job, Village. We don't necessarily want to raise... Well, we could raise Dragon's Crossroad. It is appropriately named, but we can't really hold it, and yeah. Should probably just raise it, which is what we're gonna do. Anyway, let's check out what else we need to do this turn before we do that. You will ignore you. Okay, I've already checked all of you. All the lords are up here. Fine, fine, fine. Administrator. Can we build anything? We can upgrade this. For additional growth? Yeah, sure. And then you need to head back here, I assume? No, you need to head back to the Warpstone Desert, don't you? We have the bonus travel here, so we'll take the administrator guy, and we'll pop him into this territory. Wait. And we'll have to go this way, which might mean we might not reach the desert this turn, but I guess we'll see. We also... Oh, I guess we do have the commandment here as well, so we can travel down this way. Probably should have done that. And then return here for whatever we want to build at Nanley afterwards, and hopefully unscrew the public order there. Speaking of public order, let's just take a quick... Ooh, there's the Golden Order. So I haven't decided whether we wipe them out or not, considering they're kind of in our territory. And how do they feel about Goldtooth? Usually they don't like each other too much. Oh, wait, never mind. Ruler's tolerance to the Golden Order 50. Huh, last time the Golden Order hated them. That's kind of interesting. Well, I guess we'll keep them around, at least for now. It's easy access to Imperial stuff if we can get real friendly with them. I just want to make sure that they don't take too much territory, in which case we'll need to wipe them out to make sure that we don't share. Western provinces is fine. Rest of this is fine. I would like vision from the Western provinces, but I'm not willing to declare war on anybody to get said vision. At least not yet. Alright, you guys. One more fight, I think. I guess we're going to have Alan who attacks, so we'll have you go to Dragon's Crossroad. Wait, can you reach it? Alright, I checked. You cannot. Alright, fine. You will go here. Looks like a decent stack. And what's up here, incidentally? Is it Chaos Dwarfs? Am I jumping the gun with all these peasants? I don't know, maybe. But we're here, and we're going to move. You have no choice but to march stance, unless you can leave march stance at the edge of this. Let's find out in a second. Alright, you're looking okay, and yeah, you can. Okay, so go into, I don't know, nothing stance. And then you can reinforce as well. And hopefully nobody gets jumped by Village's armies. Well, the gate is fine, so that's fine. Do we need to or want to upgrade anybody here? Now, you guys have earned your stripes, so you're able to become Jade Warriors, though... I mean, admittedly, Jade Warriors aren't really that expensive, so it's not a huge deal. Okay, these guys. So, we do have the Grenadiers available, and we did want more. Let's get at least one Iron Hail Gunner. So that we have to... you know what? Let's get one Grenadier and one Iron Hail Gunner. They're also not super expensive. And you guys who have earned your stripes, let's do 2 peasant horses. Which are barely more expensive. Oh, frankly, I should have used the rank 2s to do that. And then let's do a couple of Jade Warriors. Like so. Alright. And frankly, to be honest, we didn't actually save much because we could have recruited the Jade Warriors at 900 gold, so we recruited the peasants at 400 gold instead, but then we paid 400 gold to upgrade them, so it basically changed nothing whatsoever, really. But all good. All good. Let's do this fight. Valiant defeat. It's a lot of Norskins, and our peasants will just have to do their darndest. Go.
But we fight as one body, one soul.
They are divided and selfish. This isn't an... Well, actually... Well, yeah, it's these guys are Tzeentch flavored, right, mostly? Because they're serving village, I guess. I was about to say, well, it is Chaos Undivided, but, well, I mean, this is a Norscan faction, but you know what I mean. The joke is there somewhere if you know, want to take the time to search for it. Anyway, here we go. We're going to take a nice little position with this big old... I don't even know what the heck to call this thing. Some kind of weird formation of rocks and fire, geyser, I don't know, thing. We're going to take our position to use it as protection for our right flank. Always bring protection, folks. And the Jade Warriors, by the looks of it, will... Wow, damn, the Melkoth's mystifying miasma. Gotta remember that it does more damage in SFO, but taking 60% of the HP off a unit of Jade Warriors with a single use of it is pretty darn solid. Just out of curiosity, what's the cost of it for doing that amount of damage? 7! That's actually really good. Huh. It kind of makes me want to try a little bit of Melkoth spam on some units. I wasn't expecting it to do that much damage, but that's to a decently armored unit, so Good for them. That unit of Jade Warriors, after getting hit twice by it, is pretty much destroyed. Though, admittedly, that's 2 uses of it, so that's 14 mana. And at 14 mana, you could have cast like a Gehenna's Golden Hounds or something. That would have been even more devastating to a blob of units. Speaking of blob of units, we have our formations set up. The first of the enemies are moving towards us, which means the Iron Hail Gunners will get their debut. And it looks like they'll start against the enemy horses here, which are our Marauder horses, which are going to have a pretty bad time. First unit losing about half of their HP, and plenty more arrow fire volleys to come from that. We don't have, I don't think we have any of the Jade Warrior crossbows in this particular army, but hopefully we won't need them, especially with the Iron Hail Gunners here as well. Can't wait to get Crane Gunners and combine them. More gunpowder. And cannons and everything. Yeah, we just, it's all economy right now. We just gotta keep moving and working on our economy. Frankly, the main thing that's stymieing us right now is, well, stymieing our economy is that public order thing. We can't really collect income, which means we can't really make more money, which means we can't kickstart our economy. But that's just the nature of Confederation, I suppose, and we had to do it to get the Great Bastion up and running. This is Miao Ying. It's her baby, after all. She's been tasked with holding the Bastion, and she can't let a breach in it. Well, for former breach now, but she can't let that slide. Especially from the faction that did end up breaching it. Gotta take their revenge. Anyway, it looks like some Norscan Warhounds have made their way forward and are attacking the spears. These are smaller units, so no anti-large bonuses, but they're also a super fragile unit, so no big deal. Nan Gau Grenadiers, who were absolutely the stars of the show against the Skaven earlier, are gonna get a little bit of action against the Norscans as well. And if the enemy should choose to blob up between the Grenadiers... Oh, the Fimir Mirk will just charge right through them. Interesting. Well, we'll get one more volley into the enemy Norscans and knock them down, but the Mirg will distract the Nan Gau Grenadiers, forcing us to back off. Same said, Mirg, however, will take a bunch of arrows to the face, etc. And we'll try to block her off with both the Celestial General and our Dragon-Blooded Shogun as well. The Mirror does apply a disruption effect, however, with her melee attacks, meaning that she causes units who get hit to get silenced, which is very unfortunate for the... Okay, if I could just... There we go. Disrupted. Physical resistance -10 and silence, which is obviously not good for the hybrid Dragon-Blooded Shogun who really want to cast spells, in addition to being able to fight. And I'm really interested to see what heights we can take the Dragon-Blooded Shogun as well, since Miao Ying does buff them depending on her level, which is a pretty interesting mechanic in and of itself. Alright, and it looks like the enemy is having a pretty darn bad day. Here come the Empress's Moonbirds, the Empress's Crowmen. It's just Empress Crowman, but whatever. And they'll drop some of their grenades on the enemy as they're running around below. This time I remember to use them to repeatedly stay over the enemy, as it is not a single-use ability. Still, the enemy is in the fight, although I'd wager not for much longer. The Iron Hail Gunners continue dishing out probably pretty decent damage, 46, 8.8k. About double that of the Peasant Archers. But they do have armor piercing and shield breakers, so they're also powering up the effectiveness of the other range units as well, which is nice. Anyway, looks like just a couple of enemy units left. It's primarily Marauder Hunters with javelins, which doesn't really surprise me since the regular Marauders rushed us and had a pretty bad time of it. Nice to see those fire arrows come down from the peasant bandits, whatever. I never remember the name of this particular regiment of renowned bandits of the Silver Road. And there we go, 1 or 2 more volleys from the Iron Hail Gunners, and with that, the enemy army is done for, and the 2 peasant stacks carry the day. Lovely. And just keep on training them up, and, well, they won't have to be in armies that are in sort of backwater territories and can join our other forces. All right, there we are. Very, very nice. Well, we weren't really able to use the Jade Warriors all that much at all. We can see the 0 damage, and little damage because the Melkot's Mystifying Miasma from the Femir Mirk basically destroyed them. Solid amount of damage on that thing in SFO. Otherwise, there was a little bit of a problem with some of the peasants not firing, and at some point I think all the peasants not firing, but I guess that's just that bug. With the inability to fire for range units coming back again, otherwise we did just fine. A little bit of Dragon's Wrath, a little bit of money, a little bit of XP, all that good stuff. We are going to... do we occupy? I think we occupy and then abandon because this the other... Yeah, occupy and abandon. Raising or sagging it is also not really worth anything to us right now, so might as well. It'll give us vision, it'll give us a little bit of healing. You guys won't be able to get into any kind of...
Celestial General.
in the formation, any kind of stance that'll prevent the attrition, but it is what it is. What you can at least do is channel. Okay, you don't need to channel, but yeah, there we go. Chaos Breaker Tax Collector. That's going to go to the Administrator, and you guys can keep your war horses. You can definitely have the Tax Collector, though. Hopefully we can get a few more of those as well. Alright, well with that folks, I think this episode has definitely gone long. Hardly surprising to some of you I imagine at this point, but anyway, I'm gonna call this one here. Next time we will wipe out Deathmaster Snitch's faction for good, I think, or at least attempt to do so, and then try to hit Kunlun and grab the Forest of the Moon in its entirety. We still have to hunt down that darn Beastman army, which I'm sure will be causing some annoyance to us. Our public order and our economy remain in shambles, but well, until the Confederation thing is up, that will remain so for a while. Otherwise, we will... Bloodwind Keep Kazakh. They are not one of Villach's minions, huh? Okay, well, we'll let the Chaos Dwarfs continue to fight them and then probably back off. I'm sure the USAC and the other guys will come back, but for now, I don't think we're going to venture north of the Bastion and just defend it while we consolidate Cathayan territory. It does seem that the undead also own a fair amount, and we got 5 settlements and strength rank 8 on the Dark Elves. Ooh, peasants definitely won't be able to handle even the basic Dark Elves, so we're definitely going to need Miao Ying to deal with all of them. Should be pretty fun. We'll also try to get some of the other units that we haven't tried yet on field shortly. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.